Hello everyone, welcome to Uma's educational vlogs. I hope you all are doing great. I was not well, so I couldn't publish any new videos. So I have come with Loving in Truth by Philip Sidney. This video is going to be helpful for those who are doing their masters in English literature and also for those who are going to appear for West Bengal teacher selection exams, because I know that this particular poem is included in their syllabus too, so both will get benefited for sure. So without further ado, let's get started. So in this video, I am going to give you line by line analysis of the poem. I will also let you know all the figures of speech, rhythm and meter that have been used in the poem. Okay. So before delving deep into the poem, I want you to know some general information regarding this poem which will help you to understand the poem in a far better way. Okay. So this poem, Loving in Truth, is cast in the mold of a Petrarchan sonnet with a variation in the sonnet. So Petrarchan sonnet is generally a 14-line poem that is divided into octave, 8 lines, and sestet, 6 lines. So in the octave we find that the poet introduces a problem, a struggle or confusion, and sestet gives a solution to that problem. But here in Sidney's Loving in Truth, we can see that there is a variation in the sestet. So Sidney has tried something new. Sidney has made a slight variation in the sestet by adding a final English final couplet. Okay, so you can see there that the first 8 line or octave is telling us how the poet is struggling to write a poet of love, and in the sestet the first 4 line is telling us the poet's futile attempt or his failure in his attempt, and the last 2 lines, that is the couplet, has come up with the ultimate realization of the poem or the revelation, you can say. Okay, so Sir Philip Sidney was a noted poet of Elizabethan age. We all know that he was considered to be the first major writer of the Elizabethan sonnet sequence, and it is believed that William Shakespeare was influenced in his form of sonnet A B A B C D C D E F E F G G, particularly in formulating his couplet. Okay. So Astrophel or Stella also, we will see that the spelling is Astrophel, Phel, and Stella is an English sonnet sequence containing 108 sonnets and 11 songs. The name derives from 2 Greek words, aster meaning star and phil meaning lover. So Astrophel means the star lover, and the Latin word stella meaning star. So in case you don't know about Sidney and Penelope Devreux, I should tell you that, so that you can understand the personal feelings of the poet too while reading the poem. So Sidney was engaged with Penelope Devreux. But unfortunately, due to some reason, their match broke off. And later Penelope got married with Lord Rich. So the frustration and the mental agony of the poem that he had felt at that time due to his unrequited love. Unrequited love means one-sided love. Okay, has been expressed in this sonnet sequence. Okay, in all the 108 sonnets. So this particular sonnet, Loving in Truth, comes in the first. It is the first sonnet in that sonnet sequence. It has been written in probably in 1580s and was published in 1591. Now let's come to the poem. Let me first read the poem, the first 8 lines, that is octave, and then I will tell you the meaning of the poem and also the figures of speech used in the poem. Loving in truth and fain in verse my love to show, that she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. Pleasure might cause her read, reading might make her know. Knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. I sought fit words to paint the blackest face of woe, studying inventions fine her wits to entertain, oft turning others' leaves to see if thence would flow some fresh and fruitful showers upon my sunburned brain. So, loving in truth. Loving in truth here means the expression stands for the poet's genuine love for Stella. The poet is deeply in love with Stella. And fain in verse my love to show. Fain here means willing, gladly wanting. So the poet is desirous of capturing each and every essence of his love in verse. So here he wants to write a poem of love, write about the feelings of and his emotions that he is currently feeling for his beloved. That she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. So here the poet is telling us why is he desirous of writing a love poem? Why is he desirous to consecrate his love in the form of poetry? He's saying that uh, she might take some pleasure of his pain. So he is saying here that she may understand the pangs of his love and get some pleasure when she reads his poems. She reads, I'm sorry. So according to Sidney, the poetry has twofold function. One, to teach or to give moral lessons, and another one is to impart delight to the readers. So according to the poet, or in the poet's opinion, that when Stella would begin to read the poem, she would understand or she would be acquainted with the pangs of the poet's love. Why the poet is feeling pain? Because this is one-sided love. Stella has not accepted his love. Okay, that is why he is showing his frustration. He is suffering so much. So when Stella would come to know about the poet's feeling, about his pain, she might get some pleasure. Okay, and that pleasure might cause her reading might make her know. So when she would get pleased, this her pleasure would encourage her to read furthermore, and that would make her know about his suffering, the intensity of his love. The pleasure may impel her to read more, and by reading she may realize the intensity of his love. Knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. So that knowledge will help the poet to gain her pity, her sympathy. The lady will feel sympathy or will feel pity for the poet, for the poor condition of the poet. And pity grace obtain, and that pity will again help the poet to win the lady's grace. Here grace means the lady's favor, granting of the lady's love. Okay. I sought fit words to paint the blackest face of woe, studying inventions fine her wits to entertain. So the poet is assuring the lady that he has tried his level best to find suitable words to express his inner feeling. Here, blackest face of O, a finest example of personification. See how beautifully the poet has personified an abstract idea, that is O, human sorrow. So human sorrow or O has been attributed with the blackest face. Here the blackest face symbolizes the poet's mental agony, his anguish, his suffering. Okay? Studying inventions fine her wits to entertain. Here invention stands for poetic invention, poetic creation, the faculty of imagination, creativity. So the poet is basically trying to read other literary masters' work, other literary masters' creation or inventions. Why? So that he could find some better words to express his inner mind and could entertain the lady's wits. Wit here doesn't mean under the power of perceiving, but here it stands for the lady's aesthetic senses. As I said that in Sidney's opinion, poetry has twofold function. You remember I just said that before, to teach and to delight. So here the poets want his beloved Stella to read his poem with pleasure and appreciate his sincerity. Okay? Often turning others' leaves to see if thence would flow some fresh and fruitful showers upon my sunburned brain. Again, one of the most beautiful example of metaphor. So the poet is turning the leaves. Leaves here means the pages of other poets. Why? In order to seek poetic inspiration from the good love poetries that he feels is written by the literary masters. It is necessary for him to do so. Why? It is necessary for him to imitate them because he thinks that only by imitating the other literary poets, the famous poets, he would be able to impress his lady. So he is trusting those masters more than his own love, his own hurt, his own feeling. We don't know whether he is right in doing so or not. We will be knowing the aftermath of his effort in the sestet. So you have to wait a little bit. He's saying that to see if thence would flow some fresh and fruitful showers upon my sunburned brain. So his brain is sunburned. He is comparing his brain to the dried up lands. The lands that get dried up due to the scorching heat of the sun. What do those lands need? Of course, some fresh showers, rain, so that they could get fertilized. Similarly, the poet, according to the poet, the other literary poet's work is similar to that of some fresh showers, which will or which has the power to fertilize his parched up brain, to so that he could what I can say, that as we all know that his brain is running out of ideas. I hope you are understanding, right? His brain is running out of ideas. He is lacking in imagination and creativity. So he thinks that only by imitating or reading those poets' works, he would be able to please her. So this is the octave where he is trying his level best to consecrate his feelings, his love in verse. But initially we are seeing that he is failing in doing so because he is lacking creativity, he is lacking words. That was why he is looking into the works of other poets in order to find poetic inspiration. Okay, he is I would say that is foolish, of course. because poetry is something, or love is something, genuine love is something which comes from the inmost core of your heart. So you have to look into your heart to find inspiration. You just cannot imitate other poets or imitate other the words that they have used to impress your lady, right? So let us see what he is saying in sestet. But words, okay, I think I missed something. Let me tell you that. So here in the second line, when he said that she, dear, she might take some pleasure of my pain, here pain is actually a pun. The figure of speech that has been used here is pun. Pun is a figure of speech that has a double meaning. So here pain can mean the pangs of the lover, his suffering, and also it may stand for the poet's struggle, okay, of to show his creativity, the pains of creative writing. So creative writing is not just inspirational or impulsive, but a long struggle with words, emotions and feelings, okay. Now, but words came halting forth, wanting invention's stay. Invention, nature's child, fled step dame, studies blows, and others feel still seemed but strangers in my way. Thus great with child to speak and helpless in my throes, biting my truant pen, beating myself for spite. Fool, said my muse to me, look in thy heart and write. So, but words came halting forth, wanting invention's stay. Though he tried his level best, though he tried to find inspiration from other poets, but still he is lacking in appropriate words to express his feelings. Why? Because he tried to imitate. He didn't try to invent himself, but rather he tried to imitate here. Okay? So again he is saying that wanting invention stay. Wanting here means lacking. Invention means the faculty of imagination. Stay here means support or help. So the poet is saying here that he is lacking the help of imagination. He needs the persistence of imagination in his brain to create something. That is why writing poetry is not easy. Okay, you just can't write a poetry. You just think today that I am going to become a poet. You just can't be so. This is something inherent, right? So I had read somewhere where it was written that in order to write poetry you need three things. Writing poetry goes through three processes, that is invention, disposition and elocution. Invention means your creativity, disposition means your inherent qualities, it is within you. No one can teach you how to write a poetry. You just see nature, you just see your surrounding, it just come to you. Okay, and elocution means the ability to express. You are pregnant with lots of idea but you don't know how to express. You can't become a poet. So he is lacking in imagination. Invention, nature's child, fled step dame, studies blows. So here the Poeticos, Aristotle's idea that art is an imitation of nature. Art is an imitation of nature. So according to the poet, that poetic invention and poetic creation is nature's child. Okay, poetic creation is nature's child. Nature is the mother. And fled step dem studies blow, and study here means imitation. Study here means imitation. Imitation is stepmother of poetic invention. Okay, So this is very important for you to understand. Literary imitation is the literary study has a secondary place in creative writing, because you are creating something on your own. You are not trying to imitate something. So creativity, when you are creating something that is real, original, that is why we are saying that creativity is nature's child, and study is creativity's stepmother, because you are not originating something of your own, you are hiring from others, right? So here Sidney wants to pinpoint the difference between invention and imitation. As all art is an imitation of nature, invention is the child of nature. Hence, nature is the mother of invention, but the stepmother of imitation. He realizes this truth. Sidney finally, or Astrophel finally realizes this truth, that servile imitation is inadequate and not a reliable guide to creation of a fine love poem. It miserably fails to stir him to invent themes and novel ideas. Because invention is spontaneous, it is natural, which comes from within. No external instruction, no imitation can create a poetic impulse that dwells in your inmost core of the heart. Okay, I hope I have been able to make you understand what the poet is trying to convey here. So, and others' feet still seemed but strangers in my way. So others' feet here means other poets' work, or it can also mean the metrical feet of others. So feet is again here a pun. Okay, seemed but strangers in his way. So when he was trying to imitate others, or trying to imitate the metrical feet of others, he finds that these are strangers, stranger to his feeling. They won't be able to express the way he feels. Thus great with child to speak and helpless in my throes. Again a beautiful metaphor. So thus great with child. So here the poet's frustration, his mental agony, has been compared to a woman in labor pain, but that woman is unable to deliver the child. Great here means pregnant. The woman is pregnant, bearing a child, and she is in labor pain, but she is unable to deliver the child. Similarly, though the poet is genuinely in love with Stella, though he is completely devoted to Stella, but still he is unable to express or deliver his child, that is his poem. Why? Because he was trying to imitate other poems. He didn't try to invent, he didn't try to create his own mind. He didn't try to find inspiration from within. He was looking into other poets' works. Biting my truant pen, beating myself for spite. So this line is again reflecting the lover's frustration and his utter despair at being unable to express his sincere love in verse. His pen seems to act like a truant, shirking its duty of writing. Truant means when you absent from duty without permission. Like you remember Tom Sawyer, who used to bunk off school and go for fishing, like that. So according to him, his pen seems to be uncontrollable. It is not following his guide. Okay, it just failed to depict his mental anguish and the intensity of his love. As a result, the poet is biting his pen in sheer disgust and beating his head out of frustration. So the pen is not actually truant, though he is blaming his pen, but it is not his pen, but it is he who is to blame, as he tried to compose through imitation and not try from the inmost core of his heart. So now the muse came. Okay, this is the ultimate realization of the poet. The muse came for help finally. She said that, fool, look in thy heart and write. So here, don't think that here muse is the Greek goddess. Okay, the muse is not actually the Greek goddess, or one of the Greek 9 goddesses in Greek mythology, who preside over the earth's poetry, song and dance, we all know. But here actually muse is the poet's beloved Stella, whose figure is imprinted in his heart, in his soul. He should look in her face, or he should look into her heart to find inspiration. Okay, instead of just imitating other poets' work, because poetry is something that is born in the soul. It cannot be composed by imitating the language of other poets, right? So it must be sincere, subjective, and have a unique language of its own, the language of the poet's heart, right? The poetic impulse is a natural, spontaneous urge. I'm just repeating the word spontaneous, which comes from within and not from without. So this is the poem, a very beautiful poem in which the Sidney, the poet, is trying to convey that writing poetry relies solely or only in your inner feeling. There is no imitation, no laborious study involved in it. You have to look into your heart and find inspiration. If you are unable to do so, you just can't write a poetry of love. Okay, so the central theme of the poem resides in the very title of the poem, Loving in Truth. Though it is not the title, but still I am saying that, loving in truth. Your genuine love is the only inspiration for writing a poem of love. Okay. Now, rhythm and meter. So, the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, E. E is the last couplet. Now, in order to find meter, we have to read in this way. Loving in truth and fain in verse my love to show, that she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. So I missed something, I'm sorry, I'm going to read this again. That she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. Now I'm correct. So we can see that loving in truth. So unstressed, stressed. Unstressed, stress. So an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. What do we call it? Iamb, right? So iambic hexameter. Hexa means 6 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see here. So iambic hexameter. The sonnet is written in iambic hexameter. I think I have explained the poem in an easiest manner. The figure, I have also told you the figures of speech used in the poem, and also let you know a detailed gave a detailed analysis of the poem. So in case you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. If you want me to give or explain any other particular poem, you can also tell me in the comment section. So if you have liked my style of teaching, please like, subscribe and share my videos with your friends so that they can also get benefited. So till then, take care. Goodbye.